The interpretation of narratives is to some extent subjective, because everyone can experience art differently. At the same time, using literary analysis, we can still explain the most reasonable meanings that the artist meant to convey or that the audience is likely to understand. To understand themes of any work of art, however, spoilers are involved. Heavy spoilers. So consider this your spoiler warning. Androger, the visual novel game developed by Tirihan Studio and published by Kodansha, is a game with rather simplistic gameplay, but a poignant narrative about a woman and a strange man she no longer recognizes as her husband. The story uses the gameplay, clever sequencing, and immersive storytelling to effectively convey its themes to the player. In this video, we're going to take an intimate look at these themes and answer the question, what can Roger show us about life and love? The first theme about life in Androger is that of being overwhelmed by simple things. When the game shows us the current Roger, he is a man that is overwhelmed by taking care of his wife. But this is something that is not clear and is only hinted at. And indeed, the sense of being overwhelmed is actually focused on the protagonist, Sophia. From the beginning, Sophia is overwhelmed by things that should be quite simple. This feeling of being overwhelmed is conveyed through the fourth wall-breaking initial user registration, something that in practice should be simple, like filling in names and preferences and clicking OK, but in practice becomes difficult, conveying what it would be like for Sophia. Sophia herself is overwhelmed and struggles with simple tasks that most people don't even think about. She has trouble getting out of bed. She has difficulties brushing teeth and eating. She finds it challenging to open doors and challenging to wash her hands. Most of all, she is overwhelmed by the presence of Roger, the husband she no longer recognizes, thinking he is a stranger and also her father. Her difficulties are the result of the dementia she's experiencing, but it's implied that she may even have other neurodivergent characteristics. Sophia seems to have OCD, something that is not usually caused by dementia, but exacerbated by it. Even in her prime, she had difficulty memorizing wedding vows. The game also implies that she often doesn't think in direct ways that most people would. In the Bible, Psalm 88 describes that sense of being overwhelmed by life. For my soul is full of troubles, and my life draws near to Sheol. I am counted among those who go down to the pit. I am a man who has no strength, like one set loose among the dead, like the slain that lie in the grave, like those whom you remember no more, for they are cut off from your hand. You have put me in the depths of the pit, in the regions dark and deep. Your wrath lies heavy upon me, and you overwhelm me with all your waves. Selah. You have caused my companions to shun me. You have made me a horror to them. I am shut in so that I cannot escape. My eye grows dim through sorrow. Every day I call upon you, O Lord. I spread out my hands to you. Do you work wonders for the dead? Do the departed rise up to praise you? Selah. Is your steadfast love declared in the grave, or your faithfulness in Abaddon? Are your wonders known in the darkness, or your righteousness in the land of forgetfulness? Psalm 88, verses 3 to 12. Just like the psalmist Heman describes his experiences as overwhelming, like someone dead or someone dying, so Sophia is in a similar circumstance, trapped in her physical and cognitive decline, having difficulties with everyday life, and making everyday life difficult for her husband. Despite these difficulties, her husband is able to express gratitude to God, which is our second theme for today. Our second theme for today's video on life in Androger is that of gratitude and prayer in life at all times, a theme that is quite important. The game spends most of the first chapter setting up how difficult it is for both Sophia and Roger on a daily basis. Yet even as they both struggle, a brief moment of respite in the darkness is when Roger and Sophia are able to cook together. Despite Sophia not recognizing Roger and thinking that he is her father, he is still thankful to God for the simple things. He is thankful that they could cook together and enjoy together. Though Sophia suffers from dementia and cannot recognize him, she remembers their prayer times together. Near the end of the game, when Roger is reaching his breaking point, Sophia asks Roger if he has remembered to pray, and he tells her that he told God about all his difficulties and challenges. Sophia remembers Roger and their conversations, and he is thankful for the brief moment that he can reach her. Even at the end of the game, Roger seems thankful for their marriage and the time they had together. In the Bible, the Apostle Paul encourages us to pray and thank God consistently. Rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verses 16 to 18. As the Bible commands, Roger tries to live this out with the encouragement of his wife Sophia in her more lucid moments. Because of his difficult circumstances, he needs the prayer and gratitude in order to live out the biblical commandment of loving your wife sacrificially, which is our third theme for today's video. Our third theme for today's video on themes of life and love in and Roger is that of sacrificial love. It's unclear if Roger was a good and loving husband in their prime, but certainly he is one now, loving his wife even when she can no longer love him. This is hinted at in various ways. In preparation for the onset of Sophia's dementia, Roger reads books and does research about how to help his wife. Roger tries to enable Sophia to still be able to do some things on her own, working hard to make the cookbooks easier to understand, or making laundry setting reminders so that Sophia will be able to wash or dry clothes herself. Because Sophia can no longer even handle basic things, he must feed her, clean her underwear and bathroom, and wash the clothes when she has a potty accident. He has to help her take her medicine, which she no longer can recognize as helpful in delaying the dementia. He has to stop her from running away or hurting herself, and he has to go pick her up when she does run away. In other words, he has to take care of her more or less full-time, loving her completely sacrificially without receiving anything in return. In the book of Ephesians, this is how Paul describes the love husbands should have for their wives. Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with water through the word, and to present her to himself as a radiant church, without stain or wrinkle or any other blemish, but holy and blameless. In this same way, husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. After all, no one ever hated their own body, but they feed and care for their body, just as Christ does the church. For we are members of his body. Ephesians chapter 5, verses 25 to 30. Just as the Apostle Paul commands husbands, Roger lives out loving his wife as his own body, feeding and caring for her. Not only does he do this in her prime, but he loves her seemingly forever, which is our final theme for today's video. Our last theme for today's video on themes of life and love in and Roger is that of the concept of eternal love. Instead of giving up on his wife when she is no longer lovable, much of the game focuses on developing the idea that he loves her forever. The motif of wedding vows is specifically highlighted, that they pledge to love each other until death, even in sickness, which Roger does, as mentioned before. However, not only does he love Sophia in her prime, he loves her in her old age, when she is old and wrinkly, and he even loves her as a child, in a certain sense, since in her dementia, she reverts to thinking that she is a child and thinking that Roger is her father. Using a fatherly perspective, Roger still loves her. Even when she forces this role upon him, Roger still loves her. This idea of eternal love, though, is most highlighted in the ending, when Roger asks Sophia about what she would want to do in her true home, heaven. The Apostle Paul describes the eternal nature of love in 1 Corinthians. Love never ends. As for prophecies, they will pass away. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part and we prophesy in part. But when the perfect comes, the partial will pass away. When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I gave up childish ways. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part. Then I shall know fully, even as I have been fully known. So now faith, hope, and love abide, these three. But the greatest of these is love. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 8 to 13. Just as Paul describes how love would outlast knowledge and prophecy in eternity, so too does Roger's love for Sophia last into eternity. Roger expresses how he will love her in heaven as well, through his wish to sit next to her, which is what brings the story to a close. I particularly like the title of the game, And Roger, which seems to be a reference to the NIV translation of 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 13. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love, implying that And Roger has lived out his love. And Roger is a bittersweet love story that is incredibly moving, a story of pure love that is all too rare in today's society. Through its very grounded narrative of a selfless husband doing his very best to take care of his ailing wife, the themes of life being overwhelming, being thankful for the simple things, sacrificial love, and eternal love are conveyed in deeply impactful ways. Although I would have loved 2 more chapters, one more of Roger's difficulties of taking care of Sophia, and one more of the beauty of their marriage before Sophia's decline, the game was nonetheless something very unforgettable, and I think I will remember this game for years to come. I enjoyed making this video, and I hope that you have enjoyed watching it. That's all I have for you in this video. Bless you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If this video blessed you in some way, please consider watching some of my other videos, subscribing, sharing the video with your friends, or sharing with me some of your thoughts in the comments below.